It's the end of 2021, and I thought the perfect way to end off the year is with a top 10 list for my most anticipated games of 2022. Now, I have a disclaimer, of course. This is my personal list, and I want to remind everyone that these are the games that I really want to play, so I in no way believe that this is a right or wrong list. I don't think any list is wrong, and without further ado, here is my top 10 most anticipated games for 2022. At number 10, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. It's hard not to talk about anticipated titles without mentioning one of the biggest franchises in the world. And that franchise, of course, is The Legend of Zelda. From puzzles, sense of adventure, and feeling that moment of discovery, no one really does it like Nintendo. And this timeless classic is coming back in a big way from 2022. This is the direct sequel to the 2017 big hit Breath of the Wild on Nintendo Switch, which came out March 2nd, 2017. Now, I'll admit, I wasn't the biggest fan of the first one, but I do know why people fell in love with it. I'm looking forward to the new entry because it looks like the tone is changing dramatically, and it's kind of maturing with the age. This could very well be groundbreaking, and I really hope that Nintendo makes something truly special and creates something that we haven't seen before. They usually have a tendency to surprise us, and that would be a really good thing. There was a 5-year span, and I'm hoping that it crams enough new ideas to make it feel fresh. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 makes it in for me at number 10. Number 9, Warhammer Space Marine 2. Now, this game was recently a surprise reveal at the Video Game Awards at 2021, and I gotta even say that it was only a small cinematic trailer, and I know the potential for a game like this is huge. Mostly because I love the idea of being a space marine or a super soldier. Sounds familiar. And I've also played part 1 and loved it. Warhammer franchise has so many different games over the years, and I'm hoping that this one knocks it out of the park and makes it become more of a mainstream property and IP. Warhammer Space Marine number 2 makes the list at number 9. Number 8, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This one might come as a surprise to people because they probably didn't even realize it was actually a game that was coming out. It was announced about a year ago, and yes, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are making a big comeback, and it looks like a true return to form. It's a classic beat-em-up featuring the 4 turtles, Mike, Ralph, Leo, and Donnie, and the graphics are updated, but the gameplay looks like its classic counterpart. I can't wait to try it out to get some Chuck E. Cheese nostalgia from the arcade game 1989 machine or Turtles in Time. The Ninja Turtles come in at number 8. Number 7. Vampire the Masquerade 2. A long time ago, there was a computer game featuring vampires that was absolutely blowing everyone away with its storytelling, tight controls, and fancy mechanics. And that game was Blood Omen. No, I'm kidding. Blood Omen was good, but what I'm really talking about is Vampire the Masquerade. And people really loved it, myself included. Unfortunately, this game has been plagued by many delays, and I'm hoping it'll actually surface in the next calendar year to be enjoyed by many fans, myself included, who've been patiently waiting. I think it's been over 15 years. Now, we only got a cinematic trailer, but it was enough to remind us that the best vampire game franchise isn't gone, and it was just sleeping dormant. Vampire the Masquerade 2 comes in at lucky 7. Number 6, Elden Ring. Okay. So what do you get when you put George R.R. Martin and you cross paths with Dark Souls with From Software? Well, presumably, you get this game, Elden Ring. This game's had a long development cycle, and we finally got to see gameplay, and because people on Twitter never forgot about that trailer they showed at E3 a few years ago, that cinematic trailer, it looks promising. And I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest Dark Souls fan, but I do enjoy the games, and I own almost all of them. However, what really got me about this one was the game's environment, and the exploration seems to be a strong suit here. I'm looking forward to picking this one up eventually, especially if I can find the collector's edition that went sold really fast. It looks quicker than Dark Souls, but not quite as fast as Bloodborne, so I'm really hoping this game finds its footing. Elden Ring comes in at number 6. Number 5, Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man's hype is at an all-time high with the recent release of No Way Home, and even though I wish this game was out this year, the truth is, no one really has a console yet. The PlayStation 5 is pretty much sold out. The extra year is probably going to be needed for this one, as the adoption rate for Sony's new console has to increase from 11 or 12 million to about 20 million units. And I gotta be honest, I think releasing this game next year will come with its challenges. However, that doesn't really stop anyone from wanting to play it. I'm a big fan of the open world exploration genre, and I really enjoyed 2018's SpiderMan on PS4. Mostly, I'm really excited for the rogue gallery that SpiderMan has, and I think Venom will be a perfect fit for this game. The only thing I was hoping for was a co-op feature. Maybe they'll patch it in. Or maybe it'll come to PC and people will mod it. Either way, I want to play it. And that's why SpiderMan 2 on PS5 makes the list. Web Slinger's in at number 5. Number 4, Starfield. Some of the things that are coming from Bethesda's acquisition earlier this year by Microsoft, and this one has to be the most anticipated releases for 2022, and that game is Starfield. It feels like it's going to be Elder Scrolls in space on the surface, and that sounds pretty awesome. This could end up being one of the best new IPs of the current gen, and I'm hoping its scope isn't out of reach, because the game looks extremely ambitious. We got an early look at it at E3 this year, and the game visually looks stunning. I'm hoping it matches it with gameplay. It's kind of got a Fallout and Outer World feel, with RPG mechanics from the Elder Scrolls games. We didn't get much from the trailer, but here's hoping it has a lot of customization and a lot of rich storytelling. Starfield has us looking to the stars at number 4. Number 3, Bayonetta 3. As far as action gunslinging games go, I've played a lot, but none of them were as good as the Bayonetta franchise. Specifically number 2. The speed, the combos, the enemy design, and the out-of-this-world top acrobatics that Bayo pulls just make you smile. It's so ridiculous at times. You can't help but root for her in Nintendo's acquisition. After the deal for Bayonetta 2, we thought the franchise would change and probably be tampered with since Nintendo kind of took over. But I'm happy to report that it doesn't look like that's the case at all. Bayonetta 3 is looking fresh and full of new skills and more action than before, which, if I'm honest, might be hard to top. I just believe in Platinum Games. I think they're some of the industry's best developers. And even though this game has been delayed several times and kind of out of the spotlight for a few years, I believe they will deliver something special here. More action, more moves, more raunchy humor. Bayonetta 3 for the Nintendo Switch is in at number 3. Number 2, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. At number 2, we have Tiny Tina's Wonderland, and I gotta say, I can't get enough Borderlands and loot shooters. Also, who doesn't love Tiny Tina? She's exactly the kind of psychotic teenager that would probably come from Pandora, and her antics are getting her into another seemingly like Dungeons and Dragons clone or story. If it's anything like the DLC from Borderlands 2, I'm psyched. And I feel like a lot of people might skip this one because they didn't really like number 3's story as much. On the character side, I'll agree, they were weaker for sure. But the gameplay was spot on. I wonder if this game was originally a DLC pack for Borderlands. Looks like it's currently a standalone, and I can't wait for it. Tiny Tina comes in at number 2. Number 1, Gotham Knights. This third-person, action-adventure, open-world game is made by Warner Brothers Montreal, and it's right up my alley. I'm a huge fan of the Arkham games, and while it isn't Rocksteady making it, I did appreciate Montreal's other work, specifically Batman Origins. I thought it was a very good game overall. It's definitely not the strongest in the series, but a solid entry. The interesting thing about this game is that it appears that Batman isn't playable, rather that the other heroes from the DC universe are. You've got Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, and Red Hood. I can't wait for this game to come out, and I'm actually glad they delayed it a year to work on it. So hopefully it'll deliver and have the polish that it needs. And this is definitely my most anticipated game for 2022. Gotham Knights comes swinging in at number 1. So there it is. There's my list. Let me know if you guys liked it or not. Or let me know if I missed 1 or 2 of your favorites. Let me know in the comments below. And if you like these videos, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more top 10 lists. We do videos every Friday, and it would mean a lot to me personally. See you guys with more games in 2022.